Alright, so welcome back, guys. Welcome to your first time here. I'm Vision Hero Barner Team up, bringing you guys another video. Today I'm giving you guys my review for The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 17, Home Sweet Home. Now, if The Walking Dead is something you're interested in, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and hit that bell icon. There to miss some more Walking Dead content from me moving forward. Now, let's begin. So we are finally back and got new episodes of The Walking Dead, and like I said, this was episode 17, Home Sweet Home. We are going into an extended season 10. So we began with last night's episode, which was a heavily focused Maggie episode. Now, I'm having mixed thoughts, because honestly, I found it to be just meh to okay. I didn't find it to be great or amazing or anything like that. I just saw it as being kind of meh. I mean, it was nice to see Maggie again. It was nice to see her back, but it just didn't feel right. I mean, it just didn't sit right. It wasn't like this big hyped episode that I feel like we should have gotten. And then we got the opening minutes, and there was this huge hype about this huge Maggie and Negan scene at the beginning for the opening table read, which I didn't even pay attention to. I honestly didn't care about those, but it was so much hyped and everything, and I didn't care. It just annoyed me. I was just more like, so this was it? They just have pretty much a stare down of each other. It was nothing like I cared about, and pretty much the bulk of the story is that they have to go reunite with the rest of Maggie's people who have Herschel, which is fine. They did return the hilltop of Maggie, showing the destruction there, which I like that. The only thing I'm gonna say though is with the destruction of Hilltop, well, Maggie there, it just felt a bit weak. So that kind of is something I'm gonna say was negative there. And one thing I'm gonna say here is I doubt they're gonna be rebuilding Hilltop like they did in the comics, just because we only got one season left, and they'll probably just use Alexandria for the rest of the show as the main headquarters for our survivors. It'll be that Hilltop will probably be taken away. They'll probably either not use it anymore or use it for filming of other areas, or just sell it all together, because they have to pay money to rent out the area. So with it being almost the end of the series, I would easily see them just saying, look, we don't need this anymore, we're going to not pay for it anymore and give it up, or they're just going to use it for different areas of filming. That's where I stand on that. I think they won't rebuild it, but that's just my thoughts and opinions there. But the main issue, like I said, is Maggie going back to find her people. So we get introduced to Cole and Elijah on their journey. Now, I do like Cole. I think Cole is very cool. I think he might end up being our TV version of Dante. I could be wrong, but I do think they might kind of make him TV Dante from the comics. For anybody who doesn't read the comics, Dante that we had on the show was completely different from the Dante that we had in the comics. So I think they might use Cole to use some of those side stories in regards to Dante here with Cole and Maggie. I do think that's something that could happen. We'll just have to wait and see. As for Elijah, I really got annoyed and was pissed off pretty much with what they do to Elijah. Now they create this guy with this great suit, this cool mask, and it turns out that he's just this scared dude that hides behind his mask. Like, that just really pissed me off. Like, you introduce this character, he seems like he's gonna be very cool and badass, but then he's just this little scared dude. Like, I just didn't care. I see what they're trying to do with him and Kelly. He lost his sister. She's looking for her sister. I like what they're doing there, but I don't know. I just didn't like him. He just annoys me. And I feel like they're going to try to do this thing where, like, he slowly becomes a better survivor, but we just seen that so much that it's just become repetitive. I just don't care. He just was, like, I feel like they wanted to build him up, and then it just was a downpour of, this is just BS. Like, I hated that. But then we get them clearing out some areas. We get some good walker kills. I do think that some of them were, not done well due to COVID, because in certain walker kills, they kind of used a different camera angle. So at some points, I don't think you actually saw them killing walkers, just due to the whole with COVID, you can't get close up. So I think that's something that they did there. But they did end up having, finding shelter and staying there for the night. You had some good back and forth between Daryl and Maggie, explaining why she left back in season 9 due to her not wanting to can't not being able to handle being around Negan. Now this just felt like just a filler because I feel like we already knew this. It was kind of talked about earlier on in season 9, so it just felt like this was unnecessary dialogue. The one dialogue that I did like here was some of the bringing up past things in regards to like how her and Gwen were thinking about going to this beachfront that I guess her dad or whatever used to take her to, which was cool. And I guess she took Herschel there, which was pretty cool. I liked how they brought that up. So that was really cool. And then you got you know, how Herschel was asking about who killed his dad. We already saw that from the sneak peek, so you know we all knew that was coming. I'm curious to see how that plays out again. I feel like you've already had the whole hash out between Negan and Maggie, so I feel like going back through it here again is just gonna be like a forced conflict, forced storytelling. So I'm not really looking forward to that. But then we finally get into some action of the episode where Maggie goes to try to meet up with the rest of her people, but two of them have been murdered, and she ends up it's realized that this group called the Reapers has been following her and has been hunting down the rest of her people. She meets up with three more of them, but all three of them are killed. And that was a good tension-filled scene there of Maggie trying to get to her people. They're being hunted and whatnot. So I really like that. And the only downside here is that I just feel like with these characters, you don't know them much, so they just feel like red shirt kills. Like you don't have much stake in them, or that you just don't care about them. I mean, sure, it was a high tension filled moment, but it just was not like you don't care for these characters just because you don't know them that well. I mean, I guess you could say that Maggie knew them pretty well, so you could kind of feel like you knew them very well, but it just felt like weak. But then you got meet up with this one Reaper guy, and I guess he says that this guy Pope marked them, and that's why he's been hunting them down. And I'm guessing that these new Reapers are going to be the new big bad for the next 6 episodes. So that's very interesting. I'm curious to see how they go about this, especially with it only being 6 episodes. I doubt they're gonna drag out this Reaper arc into season 11 just because we got the Commonwealth story. I just doubt they're gonna have that spread over, so I just don't see that. But you have this guy, and he pulls out a grenade and he pretty much blows himself up. And this is where I get tricky, because when you got this guy who blows himself up, you got all the rest of our characters who just duck down. Like, they literally pretty much stand next to the guy and duck as he blows himself up. Like, honestly, if this was realistic, they'd all be dead too. I feel like they should have done something better where, they both, all the rest of our group runs and hides, instead of just ducking nearby. Like, it looked pathetic and looked unrealistic. They would have pretty much all been dead or impaled by shrapnel or something like that. It just looked and felt like a cheap fake death that they just did there just to add some little action in there. It was nothing I cared about. And then at that point you got the Maggie reuniting with Herschel, which was nice. And I think I'm not talking about acting on that hand, but I think they did cast a good actor, because he definitely has looks wise the look of Gwen, so I think that'd be definitely a good thing. I doubt Herschel's gonna play that big of a role, so his acting probably doesn't mean much, but I just hope if he does have a kind of a recurring role, his acting chops hang up or stack up to the rest of the actors. I just hope that's something that they do there. I just don't want to see him be a poor actor. But then you got a group who pretty much regroups from there and returns to Alexandria. Everybody's going to be staying there from now. And you got Negan who sees Maggie again. Again, never stand down. Nothing very exciting there. It was an okay episode. I just feel like this was just not that great of a big episode coming back from months of no Walking Dead. It just felt poor. It just felt weak. It just felt meh. And I know there were people talking this is a great episode, best episode. I just don't see it. When you think about it, when I look at this episode, I don't see much rewatch value. I don't see anything worth coming back to watch. Like I said, that it's mostly just them walking, talking, sitting, talking. You got that one scene in the middle with the Reaper guy again. I said I didn't really like that. So it's just one that I wouldn't come back to that often. And one thing I did also like though was how they had to sit down with Kelly and Maggie talking about Beth and everything and their connection between Beth and Connie. I did like that. I'm kind of curious if these two characters will build some kind of bond. I'm not sure, but I'm definitely curious to see what goes on there. But again, just something I don't care about. Elijah, it just turned out to be a pathetic, weak character. It was just filler. Cole looks definitely cool. The Reaper stuff was just meh. Overall, it just felt like a meh episode. I mean, I can kind of understand where people are coming from, but I honestly just don't care for it. Honestly, if I had to give this episode a rating, I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10, nothing higher. And that's probably me being generous going as far up as a 7. Honestly, I could probably go lower, but I'm going to give it a 7 just to kind of be fair, because it did have some strong moments, but not enough to go above a 7. But let me know your thoughts and opinions about this episode in the comment section down below. So yeah guys, that's my review for The Walking Dead Season 10 Episode 17, Home Sweet Home. As always, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and share. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and hit that bell icon. That'll miss more Walking Dead content from me moving forward. And you can go follow me on Instagram and Twitter, which is linked in the about section of my YouTube channel. As always, I've been Vision Hero Entertainment, and I'll see you next time.